I'm a pretty vibrant up person, okay? Now all of a sudden I'm swinging into depression. I'm struggling. Meanwhile, because the food that I'm eating, and now I'm taking this medication, and it's not channeling the food in the right direction, and it's not changing it into energy, now it's beginning to store. So no matter what I started eating, even if I ate fresh spinach, it was storing as fat. So you know when you go to jump out the bed and the rest of you you're across the room and the rest of you still in the bed? You know how that is? Okay, you know how that is, right? So then all of a sudden, when you don't feel powerful, you don't feel vibrant. You don't feel that, you don't feel young. Then you get into depression. What is most things people do when they're depressed? You're gonna take a stimulant, right? You're going for a rush, right? So you're either gonna do it by food, you're either gonna do it by a drug. You know, some of us resort to other things, and we don't need to talk about all that. But you know where I'm going. So, well, but I mean, it's really true because what I found out about myself was as I began to address it and get healed, you know, the stimulant had been such a behavior for me that the food changed to wanting to go out, shopping, gambling. Do you understand? And what I finally realized is a rush is a stimulant. It's how you channel it that makes it the difference, you know? And if food is your thing, then that's the case. If it's not, you're going to channel it in a different direction. And I just found I had to deal with all of those things. So I went out to South Dakota, found doctors that were in we were in the same kind of line. They were natural holistic doctors, MDs. They had traveled all over the world, and they were able to treat people in third world countries without all of the prescription pads that they had to write. They had to do it more naturally. And when I went, my sugar was 385, which said I had 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot out. And so my one doctor, there was a scientist there from South Africa. They helped me with a program, and what we did was we began raw juice fasting. My first day. No pulp, because pulp needs digestion needs sugar to do that. Carry it to your cells. So for 5 days, I fasted and I juiced. At night, I would take activated charcoal in water, which I was just sharing with Adrian. Activated charcoal is one of the greatest natural wonders. I know if you remember when you were a kid, you used to see it in your fish tank, clean out all the toxins in the tank. If some of you had dads that were out there working all the time, they used to have little charcoal breath mints. Do you remember those? Okay. Charcoal is one thing, if you go in the hospital, you OD, one of the first things they administer to you to bring you down, get all the toxins out your body. Activated charcoal is incredible. I took the activated charcoal at night, so any extra glucose running around in my system, it sucked it out. In 5 days, I went from 385 to 110.
Oh my God.
Okay? I was there for 21 days. I got off all my medicine. Then I was roaming around in Lansdale, and I happened to come across Arnold's. And this is what I began to notice. When I would eat the way, I was still eating cooked foods then, when I would eat them in my new regimen now, my sugar would still go up to 220, and then within 2 hours, it comes down to 110. This is what the medical field considers regulatory in a diabetic. Okay? Still lethargic, still mood swings, still going through all this other crazy stuff. And I was like, wait a minute, something's not right. So the first day I ate at Arnold's, I'll never forget it. I was just like, and I'm a chef, by the way, so you know. Okay? So I was like this, I was like, wow, this food is pretty fabulous. You know what I mean? Now I'm gonna tell you, because I just want you to know how I'm extremist I am. So that was Friday. Came back Saturday. Now I have to drive an hour and a half. Okay? I was like this, I couldn't get that taste off my butt. You know what I mean? Wait a minute. Came back Sunday. On Sunday, I bought 2 more items so I could have them Monday and Tuesday. because I need to go home and investigate this. What I came to find out from eating raw foods was that my sugar would go up to 180 and then come back to 110 within 45 minutes. So you know what that told me? That the amount of energy that it takes to reduce this food to go into my body as energy is less. It doesn't need a big digestion process as when I eat cooked food. Therefore, I'm not taking my sugar through elevated levels, therefore protecting me rather than hurting me. What I noticed after I finished eating that kind of food, I had energy. I wanted to clean your house, my house, whoever's house. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? And so then I started really looking at it and picking it apart. And I started taking all the different food groups as a diabetic. And plus I deal with food and nutrition all the time. And what I found out was that by eating these foods in the most natural way that you can, using them in a healing way as fuel rather than just a celebration, as comfort food, and it can be more comfortable than anything you could ever eat. The color is there, the integrity of the food is there, the vibrancy is there, texture, all of the things that are a knockout on your taste buds, rather than being distracted by things that crumple, things that shine, things that got a mother, you know what I mean? Things that got a face. You understand? Good, healthy, vibrant food. Food that gives you fuel so you can do what you need to do. So that when you get up from the table, you know, a lot of times we don't even know. We're so engulfed in hunting and gathering syndrome, is what I call it. And this is hunting and gathering syndrome. Like when you go to a place and you don't know what the food's going to be like, and you have no idea. All right? So the first time you sit down at the table, you don't know if you're going to like it or not. You start hunting and gathering. Okay? Because especially if you go to a program where you got to change, you're being addressed to change your habits, you don't necessarily know if you're going to like it, but you want to make sure you got enough of it. Okay? That's just natural human. That's what hunting and gathering is about. You know what I'm saying? But if you notice the difference when you eat this food, okay, you got it's appealing to your senses of whatever you need to leave here and do now, you can go and do. Okay? The hardest struggle you're going to have is undoing what you've done. When I say that, we've all built this wall, and this is a wall we identify with. We may not like this wall, but it's familiar. At least I know it. That I don't know. This requires change. That requires growth. Interested, but you got to make it ABC 1, 2, 3, because it's got to be able to at least compete with this. And when I say compete, I'm not saying compete in taste and all that. I got to be able to get it. Okay, and that's what sometimes the biggest struggle is, because we set this for ourselves, and it's going to take you to show up to undo this. This is the same box that you built here. You can build a better one that doesn't have so many trap doors. And that's what I found out. Because see, food really should be a bridge for you, that you should be able to cross as many times as you need to. It should be fuel for you. It can be ABC 1, 2, 3, provided you can take the disconnect of how you've made that appear ABC 1, 2, 3. Because ABC 1, 2, 3 for you there means I can walk into the store and pick it up. But if you notice, all that convenience makes you conveniently not think about yourself. It's all distracted and pretty to make you not look at what's really going on. And if it's really good for you, I bet you never see it on the buy one, get one free list.